Hi everyone, am I clearly visible and audible to all?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, hi everyone, today I'm welcome you all to yet another session at AuraFlix. Today we have Marut Singh for the Cultivating Growth Mindset.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Hi, pleasure being here. And thanks, Gungun, for your introduction. How do you want to start it, right? I mean, can you just,
Yeah, so it would be a raw sort of discussion wherein you and me would be just discussing about. I have a few questions and you'll be just answering accordingly.
sure. Okay.
Okay, so would you just like to give a short introduction to all of them?
Sure. So, my name is Marut. I'm a software developer, right, by profession. I started my career in 2004 after passing out from IIT. For almost a year, I dabbled into, you know, certain jobs primarily into transportation planning because I happen to be civil engineer, and then I shifted to software, went to Bangalore, started working with C++ as a primary language, and then I moved to a few companies, found few mentors, worked in various domains, financial services, investment banking, project management, CAD CAM, automobiles, and then I started leading a team in Features First, where I was leading a team for algorithmic trading. And Feature First is part of basically GHF, Gidon Hugh Financial Group, which deals into point and click trading. So we were developing software for doing trading and making profits in the market. Then I dabbled into startup world. I joined a company called Mettl for uh, assessments, right? It was an assessment platform. It was acquired by Mercer at a later stage. I was leading the engineering team there. Then I joined Healthcard. Then I joined Disney. I sold some of the products that we built in India to some of the US based companies. It didn't to the level that which we are expecting, right? And then I joined a logistics company called Delhivery. There was leading various teams, including warehouse management. Then I joined another company for leading blockchain, and then I was with Cars 24 as CTO for more than 6 years, where I grew the team from 50 to almost 300 people, uh, raised some certain backgrounds, took the valuation from 300 million to 3 billion, and now I'm heading the engineering team at Wiom. So yeah, that's my journey.
Yeah, so it's been seen that you have always like switching the roles and everywhere. So where do you think the growth mindset, like what according to you is the growth mindset, and how did it help you with like switching the roles and
Mm.
like just being from a civil engineer to being at the head of the computer science people like at Viom?
Yeah. So yeah, you are right about that. So when I started my career, software engineering was not a very lucrative field. Most people used to go into what you call, doing an MBA after IIT combination and moving to US. Primarily, that was the primary objective. Folks were highly paid at that point in time. But one thing that I decided that I'm gonna do something which I really like, and not really dabble into something that is not that where I'm not comfortable with, right? So after uh, uh, getting education from IT, I realized one thing, that this is the pinnacle, right? I mean, this is where the smartest people are, and you don't have to go and do another degree essentially to make yourself better. When I started learning, I mean, I initially faced issues because I was a civil engineer. I was not like formally trained. But once I got hooked up on it, after almost spending like 6 months in the industry, I was able to find my sweet spot where I could see the software actually doing things, and finding solutions to practical problems essentially. So that was something that was good for me. But you are right that I think somewhere in the back of mind, I had this confidence that I can do well in this industry, and I don't have to You really don't need to have a degree, sort of, right, to make yourself like invincible, right, in this field. So that helped me. And you are right that I changed jobs whenever I found myself, right, to be underutilized, and I found it like to be boring. I moved those jobs without thinking twice about, whether, my appraisal is like in April, so why should I leave in March, right? Those are the kind of thinking that people have. I never had those mental blockages. So
Okay.
whenever I felt that it is something that not useful to me, I will move out and look for a next challenge, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so
So it seems that you have worked on startups. You have also worked in the big tech industries. But there
yes.
is very common thing that you have always wanted the growth. So if you felt yourself to be stagnant at one particular point of time, you always challenge yourself to do just more and more, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that when I get up right in the morning, one thing that I always utilize till today is that how my day is gonna get planned, right? I mean, what is it that I'm gonna do during the day? Whether
Yeah.
I'm going to do the learning, or whether I'm a better person at the end of the day. So I read whatever books, right, from the most successful people, and this is one habit that almost everyone follows.
Yeah.
This is what we try to inculcate in all the team members that we have, that you keep learning. If you are not learning, you are not growing, because you are part of the knowledge economy. So if you have to guide others, you have to be in a position to be able to, uh, in a position where you can actually design their career path. Then you need to be prepared yourself, right? And that's where
Yeah.
the learning path comes. So
Okay.
you are right in that sense, yes.
Yeah. So, quick question: any three book recommendations that you found that have just challenged your brain and just give a new perspective of thinking that you would like to
So
recommend to the people?
in all honesty, I was not a voracious reader ever, right? So I read books, as and when I feel that it is something that will add value to me. But contrary to many business book that people would recommend you, I would recommend a book called Catcher in the Rye, right?
Okay.
It's a banned book in US, by
Mhm.
J.D. Salinger, right? But uh, and I write about it, right, sometimes on the LinkedIn, right, to share my
Okay.
thoughts, right. It has defined a word called phony, which is the people who pretend to be something that they are not, right.
Okay.
So I try not to do that. And uh, one thing that I do is that I go on YouTube and I watch a lot of videos, uh,
Mm.
of the people that I am able to admire and learn from. One of that person happened to be Rafi Krikorian, who was the ex-CTO of um, Twitter, and then he became CTO of the Democratic Party. He was head of AI and data science in Uber, right? So I really admire him. Basically, he's an Armenian, and then he went to MIT. He has some certain patents, but the amount of confidence that he has. Another guy that I really follow up is basically Linus Torvald, right? The inventor of Unix and GitHub, right? So you can define your own role models, right? Where your
Yeah.
personality fits, where you draw your inspiration from. No one book is fit for everyone. So
Yeah.
you think that where from where I can learn, right? What is the language of this person that actually relates to me, that and can actually help me in life. And then you basically take inspiration from that person, but take inspiration from someone who is authentic, who has done things, rather than some random whatever, right, baba kind of people, right, who have not done anything but they have all the gyan in the world. They will not
Uh,
be able to give you authentic knowledge.
yeah. So I see that you have been working on startups and you have scaled it to massive scale.
Right.
So, but there would be a failures on your path, right? One such failure that you faced and you just embraced it in a way that it turned out to be an opportunity for you.
Yeah, so when I joined Cast 24 in 2018, uh, I realized that as a senior most person of the team, and I happen to be the senior most person both in product and the tech. Uh,
Okay.
and the founders of the company also happen to be like 2 year junior to me in IIT.
Oh.
So lot of responsibilities came on my shoulders, which I never expected. One of that was related to hiring, right? If some people are here from tech, Everybody knows that hiring in tech is extremely difficult, finding the right people, getting them aligned to your vision, working with them, and things like that. So I didn't have any recruitment team because the company was just building up and there was no team. So how do you do the hiring essentially, right? So uh, at some point it became stressful, right? Because people were expecting, and we are not able to deliver things because the primary objective was to expansion of the team. And so I started, of course, and with just like a rational person, you start analyzing why this is not happening. So I'm not getting enough CV, those CVs are not good enough, salaries
Mm,
are not as per our budget, these companies will not fit, skill set is not here and that. I mean, you can find 100 reasons, right, that why this is not happening. And then you can keep saying that it is not because of me, because there are like 100 other external factors. So once I did the presentation, then heated discussion in a startup is a common environment, contrary
mm,
to what people believe, right? And it's up to you how you take from them. So we had a very heated discussion with CEO, and CEO simply asked me, right, can you solve the problem or can you not solve the problem, right? It's
yeah.
as simple as that.
Uh,
That point it hit me that I need to rise up to the occasion, right? There is a problem, I gotta solve it. It is my problem, I have to build my team. Whether somebody is there or not there, it really doesn't matter. So I dig deeper into my network. I started calling people. I used to take interviews, right, 7 a.m. in the morning. A lot of people didn't used to give interview at that time, but
mm,
I still sort of, out of 10 there will be 2 or 3 who will be ready, right? So
mm,
that's how I will design my day. And at some point, I became very confident that I can go deeper into my network and pull out people who are actually comfortable working with me. So yeah, I think that was big learning moment for me.
yeah.
Even at that point.
So,
Yeah.
according to some of the researches, it's been said that software developers learn and adapt to the new technology 60% more. So, there are more challenges to be tackled. Like for each and every field, they have once time they'll just learn one particular skill, and the next time they're just applying that particular skill. But the software developers is an industry where 60% of the time you're just learning about the new technologies and all. So, how do you adapt to the rapidly
I think
changing environment?
well, I think rules of the games are same, right? Whether you are in
Mm,
marketing, you are in operations, you are in business, you are in software, you are in investment banking, which is about you should do something which you really love, right? If you don't like something, you will never be able to excel in it. You can become
yeah.
mediocre, and if you have become a so one of the message that we passed on in LinkedIn is that we only want to work with people who are here by choice, not because that software salaries are higher, and my parents told me to go into this field, and my chacha ji ka ladka was also doing this, right? So I'm also here, right? Whatever, right? So if you don't have the right reasons to do a job, you'll never excel. And this
Okay.
is the set of people who always claim about work life balance because they don't really understand what work life balance is, right?
Yeah.
Uh, in knowledge economy, where you are paid to solve the problems, right? You are not being paid that how many kilometers you drive the rickshaw, right? You
Mm,
are paying you to solve the problem. If you know
yeah.
the solution, you can find the solution quickly enough. So
Yeah.
if you want to grow, you need to develop a habit that how do you utilize your time. And I've seen a lot of people, at least in software, because I work with those people very closely, that during the day they end up wasting so much amount of time. Let's have a cup of tea, let's go have a smoke, let me go and
Yeah.
do this and do that. What are your priorities in life, right? And how you want to
Mm,
grow? Fortunately, at least in India, I don't value college education that high, 4 year degrees.
mm,
Learning happens after you join the industry. And
yeah.
after you join the industry, meaning you are already whatever 22, 23, right?
Mm,
Right. So then by that time, you are already 4 year, 5 year behind. Compared to US,
mm,
we are only 12 years behind, because in US people will start learning like in high school or 8th class or whatever, right?
yeah.
We do at 23. So you are like 10 years behind compared to the rest of the world. And anybody can go anywhere to basically find a good engineer, right? It's not like कि उसको इंडिया में कुछ कराना है. I have had people from Poland, I have had people from Russia. So why do I have to hire only from India if things are not really working out? So,
Mm,
so if you want to learn, then you have to learn a constant. That is be a constant process. Utilize your weekend. Utilize the time that you spend in parties. Utilize the free time that you have during that. There's one rule that I always had is that when I was a developer, the 8 hours work I will always finish in 4 hours. Rest of
oh,
the 4 hours I will always keep for myself. And people
okay.
people generally what they do is that 8 घंटे मिले हैं और ये 2 घंटे का काम है. तो करना वो 8 घंटे में ही है।
Hmm.
काम दो
Yeah.
घंटे के बाद मैं फिनिश करके आई विल नॉट मूव ऑन टू समथिंग एल्स, आई विल से ठीक है चलो फिर मैं देन आई विल वेस्ट माय टाइम हियर एंड देयर, रीड
Hmm.
सम right, do some this. So this, I mean, the time is the only resource that cannot be produced, that always moves forward. Everybody else got limited. Money can be made, right? People are able to create land also. People are able to, now talking about colonizing Mars and everything, right? Expansion can be done in almost every other space. People are able to find even rare earth metals,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
But can you find time? You can't find time, right? Maybe at some point in time you'll be able to create water also, but can you create time? You can't create time. So time is the most important aspect that you have in your life. You utilize it wisely. And initial 10 years in your career, like from 23 to 33, are very, very crucial. If you are able to grow in that, and after that it's mostly application of that, because then you are given responsibility of the people, and then you have to apply that knowledge to solve certain problems. अगर वो 10 साल में अगर आपका ग्रोथ हो गया तो हो गया, अगर आपने वहां पे अगर आदत नहीं डाली तो इट विल नेवर हैपन,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
of course, with age your learning capability will go down. You will be able
Yeah.
to find patterns essentially, that how you can solve this. But 33 के बाद में is the growth extremely fast? The probably no,
Hmm.
right? So you have to understand that this is going to happen with you. This is everyone's life, so nothing is gonna change for you. So palette 10 years, you learn as much as you possible.
Hmm. Yeah. So we see that you have been at the leadership positions at multiple different companies. Managing people is much more harder than dealing with the tech, right? And how do you deal with that? And how do you like you are able to communicate the growth mindset with the people as well? Because leadership is something like today most of the people are not able to do it.
Leadership of course is tough as a skill set. Plus engineers actually are not trained that way. So engineers, what happens is the first 10 years everybody expects them to be like a hands-on developer, right? And then immediately they want them to be transformed into a leader, right?
Hmm.
That becomes a challenge, because see, formally you are not trained in management, leadership, things like that. You have
Hmm.
to learn this art yourself. That's why it is difficult. And then who is going to give you time? Because either you take a break and then you say let me go and understand, or you can reduce that time by learning from others. Now if you are part
Yeah.
of smallish companies, or the companies where like there are more challenges, where like new things are happening every day, whether on the ground or whether you can get a chance to watch other people and learn from that, that will actually help you grow as a leader. So one thing that one can always do is like follow basic steps. What is it that I expect from my manager or my leader? And when I become a leader, what are the things that I'm going to do? So note down those mistakes, note down those expectations, because every person's leadership style is very different, right? For example, I have a loud voice, right, in the room. It is something that I can't change, right?
Yeah.
Some people are like very soft in their communication, right? That's their natural this thing. But being the limitation that you have, you can still, if your intent is correct, first thing is the intent has to be correct. So for a
Hmm.
leader, it is very important that I am looking at the larger picture. So I am communicating with somebody with an intent that, boss, I want you to actually grow. That is my intent. That is
Hmm.
the reason we are having this conversation, right?
Yeah.
It is not to, so a lot of people take feedback in a negative way. हमने कहा हमने किसी को feedback दे दिया, immediately person's mind है वो negative feedback मिला होगा भाई. Why not positive feedback?
Yeah.
Right? So as a leader you need to let go of your inhibitions, your biases, right? And invest some value to other person's life, right? So you have to do little bit of sacrifice by keeping your own self interest on the back burner, right? For example, any leader who will come to my team, one thing is sure, that their appraisal will always happen during the last, right? How much they will happen, that depends on me, because they are reporting to me. But they have to
Hmm.
do their team for first, and then for them second. It's a sacrifice. It requires a mindset change, right? And we look for constantly for people that you might be an excellent coder or whatever, you still might not be able to lead people,
Yeah.
right? So leadership is requires sacrifice, requires genuine intent. It requires effort on the person who actually wants to be leader. And we keep telling people right from the 3 year 4 year experience to 15-20 year experience, right, that if you want to grow, that these are the qualities that you must have. And we
Hmm.
give people a choice that you want to be an individual contributor, which is nothing wrong with that, right? It's a very, if you want to be a coder or developer or whatever, or you want to grow yourself into a more leadership position. So it's a
Mm.
choice that you make, right? And then you have to constantly put in effort to be into that position. Now what happens is that people always give money a higher priority.
Mm.
कहीं पे मुझे 20 लाख सैलरी मिल रहा है, अगर कहीं और 30 लाख मिला तो आई इमीडिएटली माय माइंडसेट विल से आई विल गेट 30 lakh, because I
Mm.
don't understand the value of the opportunity that I will get in that particular job. I don't understand that, leadership position में अगर मुझे आगे जाना है, then what is better for me,
Yeah.
right? And then what happens is that you compromise on the learning path. So you are getting paid, but you are paying in terms of the time that you are spending, right? कहीं पर आप 6 महीने में जो चीजें सीखते हैं, वहां पे आप 1 साल में सीख रहे हो,
Mm.
right? तो आपने 6 महीने का तो लर्निंग पीरियड निकाल दिया ना, वो 6 महीने तो वापस आने वाले नहीं है.
Mm.
In return, what you did is maybe you made a 10 lakh rupees extra. But if you had more learning, maybe you will create more opportunity for yourself 3 years down the line if you keep doing this year on year. So it requires a different mindset. And people then complain that, this guy was CTO, he made a lot of money, and I was a developer, sara kaam to main karta tha. What you don't understand is the journey that the person had to take.
Yeah.
Right? So people are in a position because of certain reasons, right? So
Mm.
you have to understand, right? If you want to go into a leadership position, you will get more pressure, you will get less time, you will be asked to lead the team first, you will
Mm.
be put into difficult positions. Sometimes you hire people, sometimes you have to let them go. Unfortunately, things
Yeah.
don't work out. You'll have to learn how to communicate, you have to learn for other person to be able to see your region. Articulation is what we say is the one of the most important thing for a leader, that you might be very very good in doing execution also, but if the other person is not able to get an idea,
Mm.
right, he is thinking यार आपके पास में कंप्लेंट करने के अलावा और कोई काम नहीं है, right? It's a
Mm.
perception that you have created in other person's mind, right? जैसे lot of people give example of cricket because that's very popular. तो
Mm.
बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल है, एक राहुल द्रविड़ थे, एक तेंदुलकर थे, एक सहवाग थे, एक युवराज थे. Everybody had a different style of leadership.
Yeah.
Tendulkar was never remembered as a great leader, but
Mm.
Gautam was, even though he had like more rowdy attitude. And then Dhoni was remembered as a great leader,
Yeah.
right? But not Tendulkar, even though he was an excellent, right? So he was not able to communicate or whatever. He always had a genuine intent. That's what one can see on the field, but not really able to articulate his vision, take his team, right, inspire them to take it to the higher level.
Mm.
And then there was Rahul Dravid, who was an excellent leader in his own sense, because he could really, win you a test series. But people would always complain and say that, what, ye to banda tuk tuk karta hai, right?
Mm.
Very slow, and entertainment nahi hai. Because
Mm.
audience has a different mindset. Their expectation is like, पैसा दिया है, मुझे entertainment चाहिए, मुझे मतलब ही नहीं win करने से. But that guy is playing for his team, for his
Mm.
country. He has a different objective. आपके perspective से उसका perspective match ही नहीं करता. So
Mm.
leadership, sometimes you may be good, but you may not be fit for each and every position or each and every company, right?
Mm.
So yeah, so it is something that you have to constantly train yourself. You really ask क्या ड्यूरिंग द डे मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ, 5 साल के बाद में मैं अपना करियर, पहले जैसे वी यूज्ड टू गिव इंटरव्यू देयर बाद दिस कि यार 5 साल में अपने आप को कहाँ देखना चाहते हो,
Mm.
और किड्स दैट टाइम, राइट? सो वी आर थिंकिंग यार ये क्या क्वेश्चन हुआ,
Mm.
एंड थिंकिंग सर पहले जॉब तो लगी, कुछ पैसा तो आना शुरू हो तब बात करूंगा,
Uh-huh.
right? So there was some rata answer that we'll always give, because in colleges you are not really being trained to be more mature professional.
Mm.
हमारी जॉब स्टार्ट होती है 23 में, यूएस में पीपल बिकम वेटर एट वट एवर हाई स्कूल,
18, 17.
वैल्यू ऑफ मनी एंड, राइट? तो ये आपको अपने आप से पूछना पड़ेगा, और आपकी इंस्पिरेशन क्या है. जब आप वीडियोस देखोगे बाकी लोगों को, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट सीइंग टॉकिंग एंड वर्क विद अदर पीपल, गो टू योर मैनेजर, गो टू योर मैनेजर्स मैनेजर, हाउ कंफर्टेबल यू फील. और कुछ लोग स्टक हो जाते हैं, यार मैनेजर पे जाऊंगा तो मुझे अपना मैं डायरेक्ट मैनेजर क्या बोलेगा, तो एलटी पे नहीं जा सकते, right?
Mm.
If those are the kind of things, so either you train your, this is a growth mindset, that if you have decided to be in their position, even if you have that inhibition, you can train yourself. Some
Mm.
people will be natural at this, for other people it will always come by practice.
Yeah. So leadership is not just about focusing on your own self, but also dealing with the people. Like you'll also have to know about their strengths, their weaknesses, and all things. And you should also be able to communicate with the same to all of them, right?
Absolutely. And then share your growth as well.
Hmm.
Can't grow alone. You can't say यार कि मैं company का CEO तो all the money come to my account.
Yeah.
And some people have done that, by the way, in the industry, and those companies have literally crumbled, right? So
Hmm.
they're not really great leaders, essentially,
Hmm.
right? So money doesn't make oneself a leader, right? The
Hmm.
intent is the ideation that, for example, one thing that I always say, people are always ready to work with me. They don't ask
Hmm.
कितना पैसा दोगे, क्या दोगे. So कोई
Yeah.
project we can volunteer on it. तो जब
Hmm.
आप उस पोजीशन में नहीं पहुंचे हैं, तब तक आप एक्चुअली में लीडर नहीं बने. A leader doesn't deal with money all the time. Money can be made, like I said. If two great
Yeah.
minds work together, you can always solve problems. You can always create money.
Hmm.
So it's a side effect of the leadership, not other way around. पैसे से
Hmm.
leadership नहीं बनती, leadership से पैसा बनता है. Essentially.
Hmm. Got it. So you also focus on the emotional IQ part of the people as well. Like you also need to, people are not just people, they are a bundle of emotions. So the way you treat people, the way they'll treat you back as a leader, right?
Correct. And EQ is something that first you need to apply on yourself and
Yeah.
not on the other person.
Hmm.
If I tell you something there, did not get delivered, you committed something, did not get delivered, and
Hmm.
immediately you get into emotional mode. So EQ is
Hmm.
emotional quotient. That,
Hmm.
right, at what point in time you start thinking emotionally rather than logically.
Hmm.
So you are thinking that, okay, I tried really hard, but I am still being blamed
Hmm.
by this guy. So I must push back. The emotional, and it is there with almost everyone, right? It is there with me. At some point in time I will trip, and then I will start thinking things more emotionally than
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah.
So if your EQ is very high, right, is very good, then what you can do is you can apply the same thing to other person. That
Hmm.
not about you, it is about a problem solution, right? I mean, take this Sunita Williams example, that she got stuck in space for 10
Yeah.
years. अब वहां पे she loses her mind. यार मुझे
Hmm.
तो एक हफ्ते के बाद लौटना था. What is it people are doing on earth? What is
Hmm.
NASA doing? What is government doing? What is this and that, right? What will happen? You lose
Hmm.
your mind. You lose your mind, right? So EQ has to be aware that drastic situation might happen in a workforce, in a working environment. There are a lot of people around you. So
Hmm.
if you have to be leader, your EQ has to be better than the other guy.
Yeah.
राइट. उसका टिपिंग पॉइंट पहले आएगा, आपका बाद में आना चाहिए. आएगा
Hmm.
सीधा, ये भी गारंटी है, राइट. बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट बेसिकली फॉल व्हेन द प्रेशर स्टार्ट्स बिल्डिंग अप.
Hmm.
So it is something that in a highly tense environment, you still need to push through, drive your team, and if you want to do a startup or whatever, right, it is something that you will be required. तो वो आपको डेवलप करना पड़ेगा by training yourself again and again.
Hmm.
My father would always say, यार ये क्या 90 marks आ जाते हैं, क्या 95 आ जाते हैं, मतलब you never get 100 in maths. Because I was
Hmm.
board, and then ICSE and CBSE guys were always getting more marks.
Yeah.
है ना. And we always were in the mode कि यार हमारी किताब इतनी मोटी होती है. We are from UP board और NCERT की किताब इतनी पिद्दी सी होती है.
Hmm.
Of course and then 9th और 10th का सिलेबस हमें मिला के आता था, उनका सेपरेट आता था.
Hmm.
अरे हमेशा आर्ग्यूमेंट रहता है, पापा सॉरी ये तो इनका इतना मतलब आप मुझे सीबीएसई स्कूल में डाल दो तो आई गेट. No, for science UP is better than CBSE school, so I will keep you here, but this is what you need to do, right? So that's where the mindset comes up. You are looking at those rest of the 5 and not really 95 as what you achieved.
Yeah. So thank you, Marut Singh sir. So we had a lot of budding leaders over here who are just right now just the leaders of their own team or just leading college clubs and out. So they'll also apply this particular leadership styles. And if you started from today, you'll be a great leader by the end of the like early 30s. You'll be very good position to lead such a good company. So we had a very great insight from this particular session. And just closing note from your side.
Thank you, Gungun. Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone.